May we start?
What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to another Tasty Tuesdays talk. I am Zebra, and today on the show, I got Dope Stilo back in the building. What's going on?
What up?
What's up? Welcome back. And then we brought a guest. You brought a friend, DJ Mackey.
Hey.
What's up,
There we go.
So we're doing a round 2 of the Metaverse, and you guys have a lot of information to tell me, right?
Yeah.
A lot has been happening for you, Steel, right?
Definitely.
You want to start there?
Yeah.
Catch us up from the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, so last time we were talking about the Metaverse and spatial, and at the time they didn't have any legs. The avatars are kind of just floating through. And now there's a Ready Player Me, a company that is like a cross Metaverse company, and now they have integrated into spatial. So there's a lot of really cool looking avatars, like makes it a bit more immersive, a bit more like realistic. And I know that they're creating like some creator tools, so soon there'll be some like wearables and stuff like that everyone can like make, and put in. But yeah, basically since that, NFT NYC came along, I created a lot of momentum and just got invited as a featured artist by Spatial to perform in New York, which was amazing. Just all that time in the Metaverse and, making so many new connections and Spatial being very like Web3 minded as far as, interacting with the community, like a business interacting head on with the community. Like, what are their needs? What are they looking for? How can we make the platform better? So yeah, basically we had an amazing time with NFT NYC. I performed live at the Samsung store in Soho. And we did like a transcendent experience where we had the Metaverse on a huge 35-foot screen, and I performed live. The whole community showed up. DJ Mackey, he came out, was dancing in the Metaverse, checking out the stream of my show in New York. So it was like everyone could see each other, and it was really cool. It was just amazing. So that created a lot of momentum for me, and I started pushing one NFT, and that's the one song that I've been performing all year that I performed last time when I was here, Bonita. And so, yeah, we've sold over like 55 music NFTs, Latin music NFTs. And it's just, I've learned a lot about strategy and like how to approach the NFT concept with music. So yeah, bringing that with the Metaverse. We're just doing events weekly. Every Wednesday we get together, share, collaborate, push each other to perform. And we've built a really cool community that way. And here we are, got DJ Mackey in the house. We met in the Metaverse since then, and we've gotten together and worked in so many different ways. And he's, doing some amazing things as well. So I definitely wanted to introduce you.
Yeah, so just give a little backstory who DJ Mackey is. I know you have a long resume in the music industry, but
my name is Mackey. I am a DJ. Some people call me DJ Mackey. The brand is DJ Mackey. And I've been in the music business for over 25 years. And music producing, DJing, performing, live events, a lot of live events and performances over the last like 12, 13 years. And when the situation happened where we were all at home for 2 years, I wasn't doing in real life events, and I did get into crypto and some Web3 stuff. And about a year later, that led me into this Metaverse project in Spatial, and I met Stilo, and we just started doing events. He had been doing events, and I had done a lot in real life, and it was interesting and enticing to do them virtually and not have to have some of the drawback and the downplay of real life events, like certain things. There is also other technical things to learn in that area, which you've been figuring out. And when I met him, he was doing like 3 things a week in there, and then now he does like 1 every week, but he usually has a special event too. And then our first thing we ever did together, I worked with a guy named Mickey Avalon. He's a platinum selling rap artist. He has a song called My Dig. And
You may have heard of him.
yeah, you may have heard of him. And I produced a lot of his stuff and DJ for him. So we've been doing some new songs, and I met Stilo at that time, and he was like, hey, well, why don't we do a concert, together and have Mickey play? So that was the first thing we did, and it was in Spatial, and it was really successful, and like the people that work at Spatial came, and like the CEO and like all these bigwigs came.
Once you put a name on, like a bigger name on it, people they turn heads, right?
Yeah. We had a name on there for sure. And we had a lot of people playing, and that was the most people, I think, except, since New Year's that they'd had. So, yeah, so that kind of set it off. And it's interesting because me, him, and a few other people that did that concert, now we've, many months later, we formed an event company now that we'll talk about a little later, because now there's, more people wanting to do stuff. We see brands, wanting to come in there. And then I'm also teaching a mindset course in there, like the Tony, we joke, I'm the Tony Robbins of the Metaverse. So I built a stage and like do speaking in there, because that's another thing I do is speak. And the Metaverse is great because you can try out your ideas a lot easier than, getting a whole auditorium that I need to speak in and making sure like this many people come all the time. But in there, yeah, we've done Mackey's Mindset. In fact, I got to do it today. That's why I'll have to get out of here like about in an hour.
But how did you get interested into going to the Metaverse? So was it during kind of height of pandemic?
Yeah, it was at the end of it. I had bought into this NFT project called Squad of Knights, and it's by this 2 or 3-time Grammy award-winning producer named Ill Mind. And so it's these, pictures that you buy on the internet, but you're part of his whole ecosystem where he has producers and engineers and all this stuff. And so one of the things in that project was he had a virtual recording studio in Spatial. So I had looked around in Sandbox, which is another metaverse, but I never really spent any time in Spatial. And then I went for a meetup we had for that project. When we didn't have legs, that was the first time I was ever in there. There was no legs, and like, the Squad of Knights had this meetup in there, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I was on my computer, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then maybe like a few weeks later, I saw this thing on Twitter where they're like, oh, Ready Player Me, we have avatars now, like get a free t-shirt if you, and I'm a sucker for like, contests or free t-shirts. So I just thought, okay, I'll just jump in there and get the free t-shirt and then go do something else. And then I went in there, got the t-shirt, and to get the t-shirt, you had to make your avatar, So made your avatar was real easy. It looked really like me a lot. And so then I started hanging out, and I don't know if I met Stilo that day. It was either that day or the next day, but I ended up staying in there for like 5 or 6 hours and going to a party that the developers were having in a Manhattan townhouse, and Ringo Starr from the Beatles was there, the real Ringo. I didn't know it was really him at the time.
But it really was him.
Yeah, because he has a gallery.
It's an NFT
in
gallery.
Spatial. Yeah,
he got on it.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's
So you've been hooked since basically that first experience.
Yeah. I definitely have been hooked since. And there's so many different levels because you can build worlds, and you build worlds. And then I got the headset, and the headset was a whole nother level of things. Like I saw what the future will be.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, we were talking about that off the air about the different levels of the metaverse. Do you want one of you guys re-explain that? Basically, because you were talking about the headset.
Because so the one we use is called Spatial. So it's you don't have to buy land. It's free. It's like going to a website. It's kind of like a Web 2.5, and so you can look at it on a phone. So you can walk around on a phone. There's certain things you can't do on the phone, like build your own world and move some pictures around. But you can still go in and hang out at the party and talk to people. Then the next level is the desktop. It's like if you were playing, a video game on your desktop, right?
Like Warcraft, yeah.
Yeah, and you
Minecraft.
want to have a pretty good one. Like that's the thing. Like you need a newer phone, pretty much, and you need a newer a computer optimized for gaming. Makes it helps. You can still do it, but you'll see what we mean if you really like it and get into it. And then the next level, is putting the headset on, like when you walk in it. And people ask me, like, why are you so into the metaverse? In your mindset class, you tell people to stay off the phone and, take a weekend without the phone and walk around without it. So what I tell people is it's really a metaphor for life. So if I'm here and I'm looking at the computer and I see my avatar on the screen, right? Like I know I'm the one moving the avatar around, like I'm controlling it. But the avatar in there doesn't know me. It's in a different dimension. So when I turn the thing off or I move it, it's just like he's dead or whatever.
Idle.
But then he can make his own avatar in there on a little screen and look at it. And it's like the same thing that's like in a circle. And then I think life, how it is like we're like this version of an avatar, but there's a higher self of ours in the fourth and fifth dimension that moves us around, that controls it. And this avatar here is like the one in the thing. It forgets, like, oh, I'm connected to something else that in this world I don't understand because the time is different, the timing, but we're still connected to it. So then if you put on the headset, you realize that avatar in there realizes, oh, hey, like I am the guy controlling this. Because it's like, you're a computer guy putting this headset on and you're doing it. And so that's like how real life is. You become self-realized to like, oh, wow, like I am connected to this, at doing this. So I like to see it like as a metaphor for like this environment,
Well, speaking of the connections, you were telling me that you've had some major connections more than like real life, right? So explain that. Like,
I wouldn't say more than real life
in a different way.
It makes online connection deeper. It's like it feels like you're really hanging out with people. It's a way to connect with people deeper emotionally on the internet than just a comment. Like there's people that you really like feel connected to maybe before, like they always comment on your thing or you comment on theirs and they like your picture. You know what I mean? But you don't do this where you're actually with them, even though it's not physically human them.
That's crazy.
But it's like this where you have to wait for the other person to talk and you want to say something. It's just a different version than like just smashing stuff on a thing when you're not like talking. And you get these things you get in real life, like these feelings of shared experiences, like these things we've thrown, a lot of these things we throw they involve like, 6 to 7 people that are throwing them, or at least, 3 or 4. And so when we pull it off, it feels like a real event. It feels like thousands of events that I've done in real life where we're like, okay, well, that worked. And this person, so we're getting our ducks in a row because we see the mainstream is starting to come in for those events. But yeah, that's really what it is in a nutshell. Like, if my mom plays Roblox with her granddaughter, and so she gets it because they don't live in the same city, but they play Roblox together and they feel like they're hanging out. So it really is like that. And then when you put the headset on and you're like, okay, now it's really early, like the headset's big and clunky and it looks awesome, but we're close to where you'll just be able to like tap and like have this, like when you can go on Amazon and like walk around and pick out your item in their store, like something you can't try on, or, like when you're on Amazon or Walmart and you're going into their metaverse, you're like clicking your thing. Like that's when it's going to be mainstream.
Like now, I truly feel like I have so many friends all over the world. We have friends with Peso as a friend in Florida. We have Benny in Northern California. Friends like Brian, New York Culture Club in New York. Like, there's just so many people that I can call right now and be like, hey, how are you? What's going on? And I've made so many friends, like real friends. And now I can go travel and go, hey, let's let's link up, let's meet up. And when NFT NYC happened, that was like the Super Bowl of all NFT events, So that was the first time I got to meet all the people that I met from that first, half of the year. And I'm like, it was a surreal experience seeing all these people that you
for the first time.
Right, that you just heard in Twitter Spaces or saw in the Metaverse. And now they're here at the spatial event, and people drove like 8 hours, everyone like tried to make it as best as they could. And like, it's just, I feel fulfilled. I feel like this is a really dope tool for someone who wants to share and, also appreciate like others.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's a way to really connect, especially with spatial, because of the way they've marketed it and designed it for the people that want to use it. Most of the people are some kind of artist. They're like a digital artist, a painter, music. We've even had comedians, poets.
You would say that's majority of the high percentage of people are artists?
So it's not just like people wanting to mess around and try to make a bunch of money or flip money or lose it or whatever. Like, trust me, I like doing that too. But it's not that form of like the Web3, like buy this, and that's
true.
And so
because there's no advertising.
It's really like a lot of starving artists. You know what I mean? Like smart. The starving's kind of a bad word, but it's like hungry artists that are doing unique things, with technology. Right. Like we might be playing in real life somewhere, like he was in New York City, but then the thing is in the Metaverse too, and then streamed to different things. People like paint and stream themselves into it. But yeah, spatial, just because anyone can use it. It's it takes a while to learn, but it's more like drag and drop. If you're thinking about it like a website builder, it's drag and drop. Like you get 3D objects, like how you would put a picture on your Facebook. Well, you're in this environment and you're like, oh, let me get a 3D podcast studio. So you can go search for that on the internet.
Yeah, I saw Stilo, the podcast studio.
Shout out to Creative Alice for that podcast studio, by the way.
Oh, I just won something from
No way.
I won.
You won that?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got to use it for
sick.
VR boys.
Sick.
We got to have to use it for VR.
Fire. Boys. And
I just won an environment
and
from him.
And shout out to Gia and Jake too. Gia, Valentina, and Jake Steinerman from Spatial.
Yeah.
Super big ups.
Yeah, for
Bree,
sure.
Stephanie, everybody
at Spatial, Tyrone. Anon, yeah, Gia. That's another great thing about
Jacob.
Spatial is they're real
Wonky.
approachable. Like they are behind everybody that's doing things, and if you're doing something, they'll give you the platform to do it. And they're growing with the people that are using it. And when people say metaverses, there's really not one like that that's working, like especially the way it looks. Like it looks like Grand Theft Auto. Like it looks more adult, and the other ones are cool too, like Decentraland. It's just more blocky. It looks more like pixelated, but they're, according to numbers we have, like their user base is lower than what we have, just because it's a different vibe. Like it's and Stilo, I really thought to say this when I heard him talking, because he has really honed into the type of person that wants to be in there, a creative person. So how he really gets all these people and community builds is by having these Twitter spaces and these other things and saying like, hey, like we're all the same in here. Like, when he has people on, like he says what he's doing, but he's great, like you are, at interviewing someone. He's like, hey, what's your art? Like tell us about yourself. And so that's the interesting thing now is the economy wise, it's a lot of people making art in that particular metaverse, and we've been experiencing, just experimenting with making money in there, with bringing people that aren't creators, people that buy stuff, or definitely brands, and letting brands know that they can have a virtual reality website. Like we can build it for them, Oh, hey, it's just up at any time, like a commercial 24 hours for them.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was in some spaces yesterday. I met a mad genius, and he showed me some of his clients. And I got to see like Dani Alves, the soccer player on Barcelona. I got to see his metaverse as a profile, as a client. And I saw another, like an IKEA type of store, and then I saw and then he had another one for, a couple other things like basketball and this or that. But basically, like, there are people with clients right now building things for, like soccer players, basketball players, football players. It's happening right now. I feel like it's just birthed. Monetizing the metaverse is just being born right now. And so with monetizing, we're going to do a world tour. There's a company called Exclusible. They created these penthouses and, minted them as NFTs. And our friend, Jehan, has all 5. So I said, why don't we do a world tour with the VR Boys, Dope Stilo, DJ Mackey, Benny Groove, Poison Peso. And we perform the song and our songs as well individually. We go November 7th, Las Vegas, November 18th, Dubai, November 29th, Paris.
So when you say world tour, this is going to be just
in the metaverse.
Metaverse, but it's going to be broadcast. But if it's world, couldn't anyone access it?
Right. So it's a world tour in the metaverse. We're changing the location of the location by changing the environment only.
Oh, okay.
So
one's in Las Vegas.
So it'll look like Las Vegas.
But they're all penthouse. They're all the same
Dubai.
penthouse, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same penthouse. You just change the globe.
Yeah, so you'll know you're in Vegas.
Which is called Skybox. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You'll see the Eiffel Tower in the back.
And they're coming out with a yacht soon, which I'm getting for sure.
You have a yacht party.
We might be able to use that for the video is what, is the deal. So that's an exciting song. The VR Boys, like I don't know, man. I'm doing a lot. I've done music forever. I didn't want to form another rap group, but this is like these friends that I'm hanging out with already. We needed a song, and the VR Boys is kind of really catchy, and people are into it. So we've been working on it, and we haven't even like officially dropped all the things, but we've got all the, the website and all the song and stuff. I've been working hard mixing that song. So we're excited about that. It's a song about Spatians and So we'll see, and yeah, Stilo does that, and then I do a mindset course in there where I teach personal development, and so that's been great too, because the type of people that come, we have it every week, so it's like hard to come every week, but you can see the people that come, and it's a good recruiting tool for me to see who I want to work with in there. Because a lot of people that come to the class are kind of in the same vibe that I'm teaching in the class about like abundance and just, you can do it in positive thoughts and your mindset. So that's been cool because you can just kind of like see who you want to work with. And, by doing that, we have formed a company in there called Realm 3. And it's all the people we were talking about, me and Stilo.
Shout out Dabs.
We've got, a guy named Dabs. His real name is Corey. Like, he does the technical stuff. He takes the party photos. He records the whole event. We've got another guy, Jahan, who's like the interior designer there. He also hosts stuff technically. We've got a guy, Declan. He's in Portugal. It's the administrator of the whole thing and helps us book things. And we're just starting because we see a need in there for this stuff, and we've done over 50 events, like all of us collectively together. So we've got experience in there.
Totally, and met a Mike too.
Oh yeah, I met a Mike.
Yeah,
sorry, Mike.
Yeah, and met a Mike too. Collectively, we formed Realm 3, which we're gonna be helping curate events for others. There's a lot of technicals, a lot of things you got to learn, but a lot of people, a lot of companies, they don't really want to dive in that deep. And, some just want it done.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're here for.
How would you present this to a company if you're?
Well, we have a website, and we that's all officially going to be ready next week. But yeah, we've got Realm. I think it's realm.io. But you just contact us, and we have different packages. And we can work with you because it is kind of complex. Like if someone,
happy that I have a new connection. I'm so deeply connected in this world now. I feel very, very immersed and connected to the world.
Yeah.
Before I was only right here with this bubble. It made me.
And then you did it in real life, in NYC. And just imagine the next time, like we do that, like we want to plan to do that with VR boys and like have a real life thing like that. And it's wild, man, because you get to know people a lot more than just liking their post.
Well,
right.
Like you said, like your first time you're there, you're in for 5 hours. So say you throw an event, which you did for 4 hours, and sometimes you're in there for like 8 hours, it seems like. But if the people coming and going, you're having conversations with them, and sometimes it's for a long time, right?
Yeah. And like it's random too, because you have to tweak your space or whatever. Like Stilo knows, like he might be putting something in his room and in the morning here, and someone sees him in there that doesn't know him, but just is in spatial and wants to come in there and be like, hey man, like what are you doing?
Because it's live all the time.
Yeah, it's live and it's on the Explore page. When I was doing my mindset, like setting it up, I had given away all these NFTs, and people were coming in for like a week after that, like, hey man, are those NFTs still in here? And like, because they're free,
That's funny. That's so funny.
Or like different times, and then it's because it's a whole little ecosystem there. And then when we had done the song for the VR boys, and we played it for Gia, and she was like, "Oh, I want you guys to play this big thing we have Friday, and let's debut the song." And I was like, "Well, we're really not ready."
Metaverse Art Week.
Yeah, Metaverse Art Week. We're not really ready yet. But she's like, "Well, let's play the song," and so we did, and it was successful. And then the next week, I was in my mindset class, and there were some people in there, and they're like, oh, you guys are the VR boys? Like, we didn't even know. Like, it's like we're already like, famous in the little ecosystem. It's a weird, it's an interesting alternative world.
Anything else you want to
shout
out or
just pretty much look out for Dope Stilo Music Club. Look out for the VR boys, Realm 3. If you need anything, holler at us. I'm Dope Stilo on every social media.
Yeah, definitely. Just to simplify, the best place to get us right now is on Twitter.
The Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, just I'm at DJ Mackey, DJ Mackey, And then he's Dope Stilo, like it sounds, DOPESTILO. And yes, we have a lot of other things, but just if you're going to remember one thing, follow us there at Twitter and thevrboys.com.
Yeah. And then real quick, I just want to know, what is your opinion of the future?
Oh, I'm optimistic on the future. I would say that's one thing about Web3 people is they're all kind of, even if they're grumpy or doing things, it seems like they're optimistic on the future of the internet and the digital way that we're all going to live.
Yeah, I'm super bullish on virtual learning, virtual experiences completely. You're opening yourself up to the whole world 24/7, a monetary value that is priceless. Instead of having your store on Melrose and La Brea, you can have that, and you can have a metaverse just like your store. And when someone comes in, you can say hello from all around the world and sell your merchandise. And there's, the way that we, express it, like the way that we display our merch or our music, our records, our, whatever we're selling, our goods, like that's getting more creative, and it's getting better and better and better and better. So the future for me looks like, getting better at getting better at creating an economy in my metaverse, dopestilo.world.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Yes, hopefully see you in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're listening to Tastemakers
with Zebra and Jeebs.